Hey everybody, I'm Paul.
And I'm Andrew.
And welcome to the Fan Voice episode 21. We are starting our 20s with a very special event. Our first Google Hangout interview with our good friend Chris Campbell.
Hello.
Hello, Chris. And he is going to talk to us about Alien Isolation, which he's been streaming on Twitch and playing through the whole thing. And it's been pretty fantastic to watch. And to watch you play and your commentary and stuff is always very entertaining.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, Chris, do you want to give us just a brief synopsis of the story of the game?
Yeah, okay. So, for people who might not have watched the old movies, the Alien series, you play as the daughter of Ellen Ripley, and she's looking for her mom and trying to figure out what happened from the events of the first movie. And she also, like her mother, works for the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. The black box, basically, of her mom's ship was found by a different corporation and brought to the Sevastopol, this old kind of derelict space station, which is basically being decommissioned at the time. But at the same time, one of the big bads, the aliens, also gets aboard the space station. So your crew wasn't quite ready for that, and not only that, but there aren't many people on the space station, and it's gone to complete anarchy because there are barely any supplies since everything was being decommissioned at the time.
Well, sounds like the perfect setting for a horror game.
Absolutely. So I don't know, just going through the game and stuff. I didn't realize it was his daughter. I wasn't sure if it was like another Ripley or the regular Ripley.
No, it's her daughter. The main character's a female. Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah. But the one thing I was thinking through this whole thing is like, man, Ripley must really be tired of people's crap. Because like the first Ripley and now this Ripley, they're always getting screwed over by everyone and just like into the aliens and stuff like that.
It must run in the family, you know?
Yeah.
Getting screwed over.
Yeah, it must. I don't know, getting trapped on space stations.
In the deep dark, future and in deep space, if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. So
yeah,
absolutely. So Alien Isolation, I would say, was definitely an incredible comeback from Alien Colonial Marines and perhaps a few other crappier titles that may account for more of the general output for film-interpreted games.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Colonial Marines. At first it looked really good, but then, it got really poor reviews when it came out and just kind of flopped. The game before that,
it was just major overhype for the trailers to see. And then the actual gameplay was like, this isn't good.
Yeah, and the one before that I believe was just called Alien versus Predator or something like that. You could play as any of the humans, the aliens, or the predators, and the multiplayer for that was really fun.
Are we talking about a movie interpreted one or the really, really old one?
It is movie interpreted. It was right after AVP had come out.
Oh, okay.
And it's fun. I agree with you that the multiplayer is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But the rest of the game kind of. Yeah, pretty much. That's a really good. Yeah.
Just
a good way to put that.
Just a bit.
I've read some reviews, some articles about Alien Isolation, and it's gotten really mixed reviews. But I don't want to say nay on some of the reviewers because everyone has their own opinion. But a lot of the game is hiding from this xenomorph, the alien, and sometimes it feels like you're just sitting in one place forever, sort of. Some people call it, locker simulator. But as I've gone through the game more and more, I kind of get more ballsy, I'm like, okay, instead of hiding in this locker forever, I'm gonna watch it as it prowls around the room and kind of hide behind this desk here, or crawl into this space.
Yeah, you can kind of gauge more its attack range and stuff like that. Because I do remember sitting in for an episode, you were stuck in one locker for
Oh goodness.
15 minutes. It's like, oh, no one's coming back in the locker.
I was very lucky that somebody left a calendar in that locker, and it had lovely pictures in it and stuff.
Just a little entertainment.
Yeah.
You know?
While you sit in the locker.
Post-it notes. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, but I have heard a couple like mixed reviews. I haven't read into them too much. The only one I recall is like supposedly an IGN review saying like it's absolutely terrible, and then reading all the comments saying like this author does not know crap. This is a terrible review.
Yeah. That happens sometimes with
Absolutely.
with IGN especially. It's like, oh,
it seems like a little more and more.
Yeah, you might not know what you're talking about there. I don't know.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's, what's it called? Nostalgia for the series and the game and stuff. And
but
rated higher that
for
way.
nostalgia for the first film, I think this is an absolutely great game. Like,
yeah.
Specifically for the first film, because one thing I wanted to mention is that for the Alien series, it's definitely been a mix of things. Like with Alien 2, it was definitely a lot more intense action.
Yeah,
it
down
was.
aliens and stuff. But the first one was total survival.
Yeah.
Total like
Psychological
helplessness.
horror and
that's which is what this game is. You can never really kill the alien. You're running from it. The best thing you can do is like to shoot it with a flamethrower, right?
Yeah. And I played like 6 hours of the game, and then I finally got the flamethrower. It wasn't
Oh my gosh.
And like you have all these other tools and stuff. Most of them work better on like the synthetics or the other survivors that are trying to kill you and stuff. But like you can make, if you scrounge up enough scrap material, you can make like Molotovs and stuff. And one time I nearly like fried my freaking eyebrows off, but I got the alien away from me because I had to like throw it at my feet.
You do what you have to do. I think losing your eyebrows is a good consolation to having your brain punctured out.
Not necessary, those eyebrows, but it is such this game is just oozing with fan service from people who are like original fans of the first movie, because like the original Alien movie was like, it was in the 1980s that it came out, right? That was created in the 1980s.
Like that,
So it's this 1980s perspective of what the future is going to look like. So you have all these old clunky kind of consoles and these heavy doors and levers and stuff that you're using.
I love how in this futuristic world so many things are controlled by levers.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and so they did a very good job. They were very faithful for the aesthetic of how they were portraying science fiction in the future with this festival station. And it's a lot of reviewers, even the ones that weren't a fan of the general gameplay, they said they had to give it to it, that the Sevastopol felt really like alive and vibrant kind of a thing for what it was.
Right. The aesthetics of this game were just breathtaking,
Yeah.
I mean,
they look amazing.
This is beyond just like, oh, a movie's popular, so we'll make a game for it. No, they really took care of this. And it was almost a film in itself, because they did so much with the cinematography. Like, the lighting was absolutely brilliant.
That's the one thing I've noticed. I've watched a little bit of this game, and I've seen people play it, like Chris. I just like, that's the one thing, is like, having lighting be that way just increases the like creepiness factor. Like you walk into a room and you're like, that corner is totally in shadow. That's not okay. I'm gonna steer clear of like.
Exactly, and I mean, I think games all around can really take some notes from this one to really just take care of the presentation of their game beyond the playability, beyond the usual just, oh, this looks as realistic as possible, but how do we make it beautiful? How do we really put to use the visuals of the game to enhance the experience, the emotions of the player, kind of thing? And Alien did such a great job with that. At so many points, I was just like, this is so dang beautiful. I'm too enthralled to be afraid right now.
There was one moment that I'm crawling around the station, and like each kind of level, each like floor has kind of like an antechamber, a meeting room where you can like check in and stuff, front desk sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're walking in, there are these heavy shutters against some of the back windows, and they open up as you come in, and it starts playing this mellow, mysterious music, and as the light floods in from outer space and the nearby sun and stuff, and it's just it's fantastic.
Oh my gosh,
so cool.
Dim light rays.
Yeah.
So, along with that, yeah, just overall, it was like almost a film in itself. Like I said, along with the cinematography, had an excellent score to it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the orchestral pieces and where they were put in place, like when the aliens come in or something new and drastic is happening, which is just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So there was another question I wanted to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So for these like semi-horror survival, this was a little bit of exploration, I guess, but like a lot of horror survival, it's really a delicate situation to put the tasks in front of the game. Like I guess what I'm saying is basically like if you have too many like monotonous obstacles, you're less enveloped of the game, and it takes you out of the fear of it, kind of thing. And one of your playthroughs, Chris, that I kind of felt that happening was when you were fighting that one synthetic, and you had to walk around in circles like 100 times because you wanted to beat it to the alien, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did you feel that happened a lot, or it was very minimal?
I was misunderstanding. Well, first of all, that is a problem I do have with the game, I guess, where the alien has zero cares for the synthetics. Like, they can walk around, and it'll just, like, go by it as if it's not even there. Because, excuse me, the xenomorph, the alien, sometimes hangs out in the open air vents above you, and it gives you, like, a visual and audio warning that it's in the vent, because it drools up, like, a small pool, below the vent. And you can hear it, kind of shallowly breathing. So if you go under the vent, it's just going to immediately kill you and just pull you up.
Yeah.
And so I saw it hanging out in one of the vents in this kind of like little mini, boss area room sort of a thing. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can lure the synthetic, who basically is almost unstoppable at this point, to walk under the vent and have the alien, pluck it right up. And so after a couple tries, I walked around the room trying to get it, and I finally realized, okay, the alien is it's not taking the bait. So I got to figure something else out. And at which point I figured out the stun baton works very well against them after you try to wallop them with a wrench. But I didn't find that overall I had to kind of play around like that, where I'm just kind of like, okay, just have to do this a bunch of times. The only other time would be like when I had to like stay in the locker for like a whole 5 or 10 minutes sort of a thing.
Okay, so that one episode that I saw was basically all the annoying parts of the game.
Yeah, it's kind of, you're still learning the system and stuff, so like
Absolutely.
Partially it's the developer's job to teach the player the system. So you can say that maybe they failed to teach the mechanics as early as possible. But at the same time, everybody kind of learns at a different pace, sort of a thing. You can only do so much to control your player or to direct your player without having them, like, do exactly what you tell them to, and that kind of removes the playability of the game.
Yeah. And, it's interesting you bring that up, because for me, I do not play many of these kind of first-person exploration kind of style things, so I was getting really confused at a lot of points where it was how do you know where you're going kind of thing. But Andrew and Chris, I'm sure you have a lot more experience with these type of games. And how would you say it compares to those, Chris?
The reason every once in a while I got lost because the waypoint system, the marker that it uses, it's the little the motion tracker that you get. It's that classic.
Is that specifically for tracking the alien?
It tracks any motion whatsoever, so you can track synthetics or other humans or anything like that.
Okay.
And P.S. It gets really freaky when the alien is in the vents, so you see this dot just kind of moving back and forth all around you and stuff. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna die. But they did something very clever in which there's this little kind of like this rectangle that slides along the square of the waypoint or the motion tracker. So as long as you have it aligned to the top of the motion tracker, that's the direction you have to kind of be in. And when it fills the entire square around the motion tracker, you know you're in the right area, that you're in the place that you need to be, sort of a thing.
That's very clever.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's really awesome.
That's a great way to input it within that device that you're constantly using to track your enemies.
Yeah.
At the same time, it shows you where to go, kind of thing. It's great for this game because it's much more subtle and rather than like a map in the corner.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no HUD element to it. Instead, it brings it into like something tangible, which I've always
The one of the only other games that I thought implemented the interface so well was the Dead Space series, and I'm so in love with the first and the second game out of that series because they make almost everything in the UI kind of like on your character or in the world.
So
sort
cool.
of. So like your health bar is this literal gauge on the back of your character's back, and like everybody in the game has one. Because it's like a life sign meter sort of a thing that they in the lore, in the story, that they actually use. And like there's like signs in Dead Space on the ships and stuff that says, like, watch each other's backs, sort of a thing, like little slogans. To make sure if somebody's hurting, if they bleed out, they start the bar goes down. But there's also a waypoint system where your character, if you push a button, excuse me, he basically shoots this kind of like holographic line out, and it points him in the direction that he needs to go. So it's all implemented on the character really well. So that game and Alien are probably like two of the best like games that I would say have implemented excuse me, user interface that well.
Yeah.
Within the life of the game itself.
Yeah.
That's pretty dang awesome.
I totally agree with you on Dead Space, because I loved the fact that the first time I brought up my gun, I could see my ammo and how much ammo I had in the clip and in general on the actual gun.
That's awesome.
And I was like, and then I realized there's no HUD. Like, it's all on my character.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And it helps the environment. Like, it helps you feel like you're not playing a video. It helps you get really invested.
Yeah.
And that's what you need for a good horror game,
Absolutely. Right. Just getting really enveloped in it is like absolutely key, like higher than any other genre, I'd say.
Yeah.
And to that end, the reason I've been enjoying Alien Isolation so much, it's not so much as jump scares, but the one of the things that it does, also like Dead Space, is that it has a manual save system. So you basically know where you're going to be if you die.
Oh my gosh, that save thing it has so much tension to it. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Just like you have to put the key card in and waiting for it to charge, and I can see Chris constantly looking around.
Because you have control of the camera as you're saving, because it like takes a second, and so as your character's sliding this key card in to save the game, you can look left and right to make sure there's no one there. But like if there is, you're done anyways because you can't stop yourself.
Have you ever gotten killed trying to save?
Yes, I have. So this one time, the alien was stalking me in some of these like back med lab rooms and stuff, and I'm like, I see a save station in this tight hallway, and just save real fast, not a big and it'll be fine. And so as I go up to the machine, I hit the button to save, and my character starts to slide the key card in, and then I hear this hiss and this thud behind me, and I'm like, balls!
Even though Alien films and Alien Isolation does a really good job like emphasizing the suspense and the tension, both the films and the games also really indulge in their little gore loophole, which is dismembering the robots and making them throw up weird stuff all the time.
Yeah, they had a lot of very good practical effects in a lot of the movies and such, with especially with the synthetics and stuff. Yeah, they're not human, so they can bleed and burst and fall apart.
Whatever the heck they want. Alien 2, where that one gets like ripped in half.
That was awesome.
Like, there are things that look like guts, but it's okay. It's just robot stuff, guys.
They're just synthetics.
It's not actual humans. Come on.
And they did a lot of good job, and like the mind has, a tendency to think of the worst, especially when you don't see what everything is going on. So
Absolutely.
A lot of when the alien kills people, you don't actually see them dying. You see like, the moments before the alien hovering over them with the tiny little mouth, just about to extend out, sort of.
Right, and then like black screen.
So, yeah, exactly. So you just hear the scream and stuff, and so
pretty freaky. And also there are like certain parts once you get to like a certain progress in the game, there are certain parts where like crazy things happen, like an explosion or like the alien takes you somewhere or you fall somewhere and you just black out for a while. It's like, oh my gosh, what the heck is happening to me? Then you wake up and everything is like 10 times worse.
Yep. If anything in space can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Oh yeah. So
I definitely really want to play Alien Isolation, but actually have either of you guys ever played Colonial Marines?
No.
I've only watched a little bit of it, but I haven't played it myself because of the poor gameplay and stuff.
Yeah. So I was one of the unfortunate ones. My friend was like, "I got Alien Colonial Marines. We should totally play it." And I was like, "Okay." And it was awful. It was so bad.
Oh.
I know. I was so disappointed too because Alien Isolation. It seems a lot more like you were saying. It seems a lot more like the first Alien.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Colonial Marines is a lot like Aliens. And I like both movies a lot.
Oh yeah,
like, both of them are great.
Really good.
They're different, but they're both really, really good.
Yeah.
And I was so excited because Colonial Marines was like Aliens. It's like, yeah, we're gonna go like be a Marine. We're gonna kick some ass.
Space Marines.
Yeah, it was awful. So bad. And it's really disappointing because I feel like this kind of proves, Alien Isolation to me kind of proves you can do a good, like, licensed, especially Alien movie.
Yeah.
Or Alien game.
Right. I mean, that concept in general is great setup for a video game, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But so many times those games just fall by the wayside, like especially new ones that just come out because it's like just all about the hype kind of thing. They have such little care for it. It's really disappointing.
I haven't played the latest in the series, but one of the highly regarded sort of licensed games these days has been the Batman Arkham series. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and stuff. And I think there's Origins and another one now, maybe.
Arkham Knight is coming out.
Yeah. I haven't played Arkham Origins, but I played Arkham City and Arkham Asylum, and I found that to be really good and really faithful, and kind of it rekindled my love for Batman that I once had when I was a child, kind of a thing, because it had a lot of nostalgia of how Batman used to be, as opposed to the new movies and such that are gritty and more realistic, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that?
One of the big things is they got for the life of me I can't remember his name, but the guy that played Luke Skywalker.
Mark Hamill.
Oh yeah, for the voice.
Yeah.
They brought Mark Hamill back for the voice of the Joker, which when I was a kid I watched the Batman the Animated Series, and he was the Joker, and that was the voice I remembered. And
he may very well be the perfect Joker.
Yeah.
Because, I personally like Heath Ledger the most because he impacts me most emotionally. But at the same time, Mark Hamill brings out basically the hilarity and the dark psychoticness of it to really both intense extremes. Where on the other side, I'm sorry, Jack Nicholson, I wasn't afraid of him at all.
What is it? Yeah, no. Mark Hamill is the clown prince of crime, sort of a thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Heath Ledger is this demented, psychotic clown persona that just wants to watch the world burn.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean the Christian Bale movies they're not bad by any means. I enjoyed them, but
I love them.
Yeah.
Favorite superhero movie of all time.
I very much enjoyed them, but when I was going through them, it didn't connect with me like it connected with me as a child. And when I played Batman Arkham Asylum, I felt that again. I felt like I was kind of playing through. I was watching the show again because how he's going through. He's using all these gadgets to beat up like these tons of bad guys that he's just dancing around and countering and stuff. And there's Joker, he's stirring up mischief again. And I think that's I don't know if they've it was really faithful, and I'm not sure if the series has stayed as faithful, but I enjoyed Arkham City, and I hope Arkham Origins and this Arkham Knight will be just as good. I was kind of worried with Arkham Knight because I saw that you could drive around in the Batmobile. And it turns into like the bat tank, and it kind of looks cool. But at the same time, the playthrough I saw was he was just kind of rampaging through the city, just bulldozing through anything, and that doesn't seem like a very Batman thing to do, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's very mindful of his surroundings.
Yeah,
and stuff. It's Batman's just so cool. It's just an interesting combination because with villains he's pretty dang brutal, but at the same time he has the rules and stuff with him,
never kill, but that was a good, that was definitely, at least the first two were very excellent licensed games, and we're also kind of in the show that it is possible to make a good licensed game that is faithful and nostalgic.
Yeah, absolutely. Seriously. And if people take more to that faithful route and create a strong, like, well cared for engine and just all around design and stuff, it shows that these games stand out much higher than like the mass quantity of crap they just throw out there. It's really baffling,
And the video game, no.
That's my problem with Colonial Marines too, is because as I'm playing through it, I'm like, wow, this has a lot of random fan service. Like they say a line, and you're like, oh, it's from Aliens,
but it's not gracefully put in there at all.
And then the next time you go and there's an alien in there, you literally can just shoot them in the face, and they'll just stand there and not do anything. And I'm like, you can't just have like, oh, we'll just throw a bunch of great lines and people know stuff from Aliens, and then not actually make a game.
No,
like you have to go and like make a game and make it
right. Absolutely
needs to be intense, especially if you're like action guns a-blazing thing. The AI has to be top notch. I mean, the AI has to be top notch either way. They did a great job with the alien here in Isolation, but I mean, when you see these characters just kind of like derping about, sort of just just standing there, it's like, I want to fresh go get the main player. He's gonna stand there. I can probably go get him. Think about it a little longer. It breaks that immersion factor and pulls you out of the game. Like, oh yeah, this is just it's just a game. I'm not experiencing anything.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. There's DLC that's coming for Alien Isolation. I don't remember what it's called, but it's kind of sort of a recreation of some of the events from the original movie. Almost tit for tat, but they call it in the original movie there is this AI or this computer's I guess it's an AI. They called it Mother. It's the control system sort of a thing. And
I believe he was directing their mission, right?
Yeah, it was directing the mission, central repository, blah blah blah. And I believe it's basically it's Mother's kind of simulation of what happened on in the first movie on I can't remember the ship's name, but in the first movie with the first
ship. Really, really cool.
Yeah, and it allows for some variance because it's a simulation. It's not a direct recreation of the original movie, and but they brought Sigourney Weaver back to do the voice parts for the character that you're playing, because you're playing as Sigourney Weaver's Ripley, not her daughter Ripley in this one's.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the way to do that right. Now that I'm thinking about this, I'm like.
So I'm really excited. It's from what I've read, it's a really big love letter to the the fans of the series and stuff, because they did a very good job. recreating the original ship painstakingly. It's obviously not perfect, but what are you going to do? But it's very close and very well thought out for people who enjoyed the the original movie.
That's so cool. Now I'm thinking I really do want to pick up Alien Isolation.
Oh, you should.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot lately, and I'm like, I really need to just go pick this up and play it. How I'm actually curious. How long is it when you finish it?
Oh, I've been live streaming, and each time I live stream, I play about 2 to 3 hours. Okay. And I've done a few sessions so far. It could be 10 to 15 hours, maybe, depending on how much you screw around, how much you die and stuff.
Yeah.
And I haven't even touched the DLC yet, and so I'm not sure how long that stuff is.
Yeah.
I know, I'm personally hoping for a little extension on the ending of it, because I thought that was really, really anticlimactic. I won't get into details of that, but...
Yeah, don't. I do want to play it at some point.
Yes. No spoilers, no spoilers!
But you know what I was thinking? I would be really interested to see if a lot of the people who made this game went on to create a second Alien game that was more like the second Alien movie, where it's more like gun and fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
But the aliens are much harder to kill.
They're scarier because they're not
more of them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what is it? You go in shooting an alien, you're gonna get a face of acid.
At least you should.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
you don't know any better, man. That's actually that's why Dead Space is one of my personally top-rated kind of horror action games, because kind of like Alien Isolation in the first Dead Space game, you're playing as this engineer, this space engineer, Isaac Clarke, kind of exploring this derelict, not a station, a ship, a planet cracker that's designed to mine ore out of planets and stuff. The crew's mostly gone, and it's filled with these space zombies basically. And so you're alone. There's not much dialogue. There's a couple characters you interact with, but mostly you're by yourself, and the fear is setting in. The shadows are creeping in around you, sort of a thing. And you're trying to find your girlfriend, which happens to be one of the crewmen aboard the ship. And I won't say what happened for people. I mean, really, if you haven't played it by now, you really should. But I just don't say anything. But at the same time, Dead Space 2 kind of takes it kicks it up a notch, where by now Isaac Clarke, he's kind of this whole grizzled veteran sort of a thing. He's seen it all sort of a deal, and everyone else might be freaking out around him, and he might be going crazy, but he's gonna get it together and keep it together until he can finish what he started, sort of a thing. And it's a lot more faster paced, it's a lot more actiony, and I feel that it was an excellent progression for the series to take.
Yeah, that is so Aliens. That is so Sigourney Weaver's development. It like Ripley's development between the two movies. It's like she's the only competent one ever, and then after surviving the first events, she's doing this again, but at the same time she knows what she's doing. She's ready for a lot more, and at the end of it all, she's just like, I'm tired of taking crap from this thing, and goes down with a flamethrower and tons of weapons. It was time for this. It was after going through two movies, it's time to fight back, kind of thing. So I mean,
it's character progression.
Absolutely, and I mean, with horror, with good horror like that, it really takes a lot of care to just get that at the right time, kind of thing, to make it
definitely.
Feel,
Yeah.
Especially with the Alien universe and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, if they did the same thing that they did in Dead Space for Alien, and maybe just with the same character from Alien Isolation, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing that, since I watched the original Alien movie before starting to play Alien Isolation to kind of get me into the groove for it and stuff. But I haven't watched the other ones. I understand that they do mention Ripley's daughter maybe once or twice. And I think, does she have two daughters? I don't remember.
Honestly. I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
Ripley's daughters.
I think it's just one, but yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, using a character like that that's close to the characters, established in the series, but at the same time, there isn't a lot developed for, gives a lot of room to play and a lot of less of a chance to kind of screw up already established canon and lore for the series.
Well, I mean, this new Ripley is exactly like the old Ripley in my opinion. So, I mean, I guess it was a nice little leeway to like maintain some sort of continuity, but at the same time, it was really nice to get into this Ripley's shoes because I would say the old Ripley would pretty much handle it the same way, and you're getting all those like intense experiences that she experienced, kind of thing.
Yeah, like mother, like daughter, right?
Yeah. Okay, Chris, I did not realize you haven't seen all the Aliens.
I just haven't. I mean, I might have missed one, but I own them all, and I've been meaning to go back through them all, and I just haven't watched any of them since like I was very, very young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so you already went through Alien 1, but just go through Alien 2.
I have seen that one for sure more than once. It's been years, man.
Yeah. No, I think the same thing. I haven't seen the first Alien in a long time.
Yeah.
I've seen Aliens recently, but I haven't seen the first Alien since. Yeah, it's been a while.
Little toddler.
Yeah.
It's amazing how just different the emotions and feel they gave to those two movies, but they're both so good.
Yeah. It's like you said, like Dead Space did. It's a very excellent progression because they're not trying to do the same exact thing. They're trying to evolve the story, escalate things, and sometimes you might, as you might see from some of the other movies, things get escalated too quickly or too much, get too over the top, sort of a thing. But
absolutely.
But the transition from Alien to Aliens was very good.
Yeah.
Nice and smooth.
Nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Like butter. Well, butter my biscuits.
All right. Well, that was a really good discussion on Aliens and on licensed games.
Yeah, just games in general, film interpretation.
Yeah.
Games. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Chris? Before we wrap things up.
Well, no, let's see. If we're going to talk about horror games, I guess it would be a nice touch to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. If you've heard of that one at all.
I have watched a little of that. Oh my goodness.
Have you played it recently?
I haven't played it, but I watched Markiplier play through the entire thing. He's a streamer on YouTube, and it's kind of funny to. It's a very different kind of horror game because instead of exploring this environment, you're staying put in one location and watching all these video screens.
It makes you feel so powerless.
You're just stuck there. You have no way to fight back. You basically can defend yourself.
You basically watch things in closed doors.
Yeah. For anyone that might not understand what Five Nights at Freddy's is, you play a night security guard in this kind of Chuck E. Cheese-like pizza place, for children. And they have some of those, mechanical band members that they have that dressed up as, robots dressed up as players
and broken down looking.
Yes. Yeah. And so at night, you're explained by the previous night security guard via voice recorder that they have a tendency to get up and roam around. And if they see you, for some reason in their circuitry, they think you are one of them that has lost their suit or something like that. So they will violently try to stuff you back in it, and you'll die. So you them to
there is a sequel coming out where you are in the suit, right?
Yeah, it's a new mechanic for that. In the first one, you're just sitting there. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you're still sitting in there in the second one. I don't know a whole lot about it, but they introduced the mechanic of you being able to hide in the suit to be able to ward off the other mechanical creatures for a time, at least. I haven't looked too much into it, but the first game, I believe it's a little indie game at first, and they do
just exploded.
They do, yeah. Though everyone loves it. It's got a different feel than anything before because, like I said, you're not exploring through the environment. You have cameras in this environment, this 3D environment, and
all the terror is coming to you.
Yeah. and you're set up in this little security room with a heavy metal door on each side of you. Every time you close the doors or use the cameras or the lights or something, it drains a bit of your power for the night, and you have to survive for
5 minutes.
It's like 6 to 12 hours. I can't remember. It's 6 or 12. You have to survive from like 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. I believe.
Yeah, I think that's it.
And so you have to manage your power because everything drains your power. So if you waste too much power, your power is going to go out, and they're just going to come in there and rip your face off, sort of thing. Yeah. And so you feel very, very isolated too in that, and very vulnerable. And so it kind of freaks people the heck out like no other horror game has. It's not like
it sucks.
It sucks. It really does suck. It is stressful. When I was watching Markiplier play it, he was freaking the heck out, and it's kind of funny because he played it so much that at the beginning of the game he was terrified, and at the end of the game he was kind of like. I mean, it's kind of the horror hero's progression where it's like, okay, I'm done with this. Let's just finish what we started, sort of thing. But it was very enjoyable, and I do recommend it to anyone else that likes horror games and such.
Yeah, I have not played it. I have watched people play it, and I don't know if I want to play it.
Dude, I can't play any of these games myself. You know how freaking jumpy I am with just regular games. It's awful. It's awful. I would just totally crap myself at every corner. It'd be a rough, not enjoyable experience. But I mean, I can appreciate the art behind these games.
Yeah. Appreciate it for what it is.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
All right, so here's to awesome film game interpretations, horror games now, and horror games to come, all that jazz.
There's gonna be, I'm guessing with Alien Isolation, Five Nights at Freddy's. There's been some recent horror games. PT was another one that came out.
Oh
recently. That game is freaky. And
another nice touch between the two is it's a lot more suspense than gore.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
PT is, dude, I don't know.
No, that's a really good one, especially because of how limited space that you're really playing in.
Yeah.
It's just 2 narrow hallways and a couple of little extra rooms, like a bathroom, and then the other room you start in, sort of a thing, and that's basically it. You're just kind of exploring this same hallway, these same hallways over and over again, but the environment kind of changes every time you do. It's like you're stuck in kind of like the supernatural maze, sort of a thing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and sometimes depending on certain things you do, it will influence what you see next time you go through this environment, and it's so random that I mean people have figured it out by now. You can go on and research what you need to do for what outcomes and such, but the first time you're going through it and you're experiencing it, you're not really sure what you're doing, and you just don't know how these things are happening, and it's really freaky.
Yeah. I mean, PT is a good example. I think horror for a while kind of, didn't have a place really, and I feel like now it's coming back with a vengeance. I think Alien Isolation is really popular. Obviously, Evil Within had some mixed reviews, but I think pretty soon here we're going to be getting a flood of new kind of horror games.
Yeah, and that'll be good.
Violence. Yeah. That's where I want to see it go.
Yeah.
I won't be watching because I'm too scared most of the time, but that's where I wanted to go.
To touch upon movies a little more, have you seen Cabin in the Woods at all?
Yes. I love Cabin in the Woods.
I feel like, I mean, like you said, it's there's probably going to be more horror games coming out. I mean there are. You got Five Nights at Freddy's, you got Outlast, you got the Alien games, and all sorts of stuff. And just kind of for different genres like this, it just gets overly saturated. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff to pick through. But at the same time, that means that people are working harder to make that one really good game.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so, what I enjoy about, I won't spoil it. Once again, it's a fantastic horror movie. That if you enjoy horror, you really need to see it. But it's kind of a good sort of satire of the horror like mentality that people have, sort of a thing. And I would kind of enjoy seeing a game take on that sort of I would call it like sort of a meta horror story, sort of a thing. And it's really hard to talk about because I don't want to spoil anything.
Without spoiling.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Yeah. I really like that idea.
Yeah. And the same goes for what is it? Fright Night. I'm bad. I've never seen the original Fright Night, and I really know I should. But I've seen the one with I can't remember the main character, the actor's name, but he also played Chekhov in the new Star Trek series movies.
Right.
Yeah, and what is it? David Tennant, one of the doctors, is in it as one of the main characters. But it's funny, it's tongue in cheek. It kind of it's a vampire movie that kind of follows the old creed of like hardcore old vampires, stake through the heart, burns in the sunlight, can't be enter a household unless he's invited in, sort of a thing. And they just play on those old mechanics so very well that I'd like to see same sort of a thing in a video game. It'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I love that idea. Like especially the Cabin in the Woods, like a video game Cabin in the Woods. That would be amazing. Cause
it'd be trippy as all heck, but it would be
awesome. It really would. If you have not seen Cabin in the Woods, and I am guessing Paul, you haven't.
No,
you need to see Cabin in the Woods.
I don't like horror movies.
No, you'll like it.
And I mean, I can say this: that Cabin in the Woods isn't very scary, but it is so very good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It definitely has scary moments, and it has like kind of a few like jump scares, but it's really suspenseful the whole way through, and it's so good.
Like one of those it's constant tension kind of thing.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it. You gotta.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so hard to explain because really you don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, exactly. So. It's so different than anything else. And,
right.
And you'll know. I mean, I know you're a huge movie appreciator kind of a person, so it's something.
Okay. I'll take a look. Yeah, maybe I'll try and jump back into horror a little bit here and there. Yeah. I mean, I'm really jumpy and stuff, and like I get scared easily. But what is it? Actually, recently I just watched The Shining again with my mom. Like,
oh wow!
Like I watched it when I was little and was traumatized. But just like watching it again, just a few of the scenes, like the hallway clips and stuff, and I'm like. I'm not scared. I'm just like, oh my gosh, these are such amazing angles.
Yeah.
Just more of the analysis part of
it.
That is, the cinematography and I mean.
So wonderful.
Oh yes, that almost reminds me for some reason of I mean, it's kind of a precursor. It might be one of the kind of games that sort of set off this whole horror craze again, which is Slender. Yeah, because the whole creepypasta stuff, that started to pick up steam, and then people created that game, and then I don't remember the name of the game, but you're stuck in this secret government lab sort of a thing, trapped with a monster that can't move unless you look at it. If you blink, it can move. If you don't blink, it's frozen in place. So you have to kind of navigate your way out. With that mechanic in mind, and you can only keep your eyes closed or open for so long while looking at it.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
that's creepy.
And to touch on that, I mean, it's kind of just a cool experience. I don't know if you're a Doctor Who fan at all, either of you, but
I know a lot of Doctor Who fans, and I think I'm gonna know what you're talking about.
So some of the creepiest episodes involve these bad guys called the Weeping Angels. And they're these stone statues that, when viewed, they just look like any other stone, like kind of creepy-looking angel statue sort of a thing. But when you blink, when they're not seen by anyone, they move faster than anything ever, sort of a thing. So, like, if you blink, it's kind of like freaking, like, stop motion, like it's coming at you, sort of a thing, and
that's
take huge strides. Yeah, and I'm into. I went to school for game development and programming and stuff, and I try to go to the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco every year when I can. And there were these indie game guys that were working with the same people who did the Neko Mimi ears, the ones that can kind of read brainwaves and stuff. And they had another version of that set up to kind of interface with video games. And the one that I played was sort of like a Star Wars, like using the Force sort of a thing, like the more serene and peaceful you were, the more you were able to like levitate stuff. But I was telling him how much, I was talking to the developer guy, and he's like, oh, if you like this kind of stuff, you should check this out. So he had like a little demo of using the headset. It can read when you blink, and he had this weeping angel set up in the game. So whenever you're walking through this 3D space, and whenever you blink in real life, the angel moves if you're looking at it.
Oh God!
It kind of recreates that feel. It wasn't a whole game, but it was this kind of like just this little like if you're a Doctor Who fan, this is so freaking creepy, but it's awesome at the same time. And I would love to see a game like this because it's kind of like that other game that I was referencing where you have the blink mechanic, but it takes it a step further because you're wearing this little piece that kind of reads your brainwaves and knows when you're blinking in real life.
It's so.
I feel like that would be a great leeway game for Oculus Rift.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right? Because you're right there in everything, and like I'm sure they could implement something like that. It's on your face anyway, kind of.
Yeah. The technology is getting freaking crazy, man.
Yeah,
it's great.
This is a good time. Now that I'm thinking about it, this is a very good time for horror.
What a day to be alive.
You have Oculus coming up.
No.
And, oh my God.
The alien is on me.
Oh no. No, it's fantastic. The technology, you got to see it, coming closer and closer together, and it'll just help developers create more terrifying and awesome and immersive experiences for horror and action and all sorts of game types.
Yeah, and the great thing about just this progression with technology is, along with that, it seems like developers are really taking better care of the art of video games a lot.
Yeah.
Like, even in the past couple of years, I feel like they've just progressed in that mindset a lot more.
Yeah, I've noticed that too with not everyone is adopting the mindset, and you see same problems happen over and over, but it's always really great to see when the people really do take an appreciation for that.
Absolutely. I feel like the same old errors of the people just trying to want to make money are starting to make less money because of those errors.
Yeah, people are starting to give less money, like the whole licensed games again. The one I kind of just poked fun at was one of the Iron Man games. And something I do wish I brought up sooner than this, but I'm glad I'm talking about it now, is I believe that a lot of the problem with licensed games is that, first of all, this is kind of my own opinion, because you don't really know the people behind the games a lot of the time, but sometimes their heart's not into it. They're just like, this is their next assignment sort of a thing. They don't know much about the source material or the mechanics, and
it's a job, not a career.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the right word. It's a job.
It's just another assignment for them. Yeah. And that is totally just my opinion, and I can't say that for every single game and stuff, but you can see when a team really comes together and tries for a game, like the Arkham games, like the Alien game.
Absolutely.
And one of the biggest overall problems that I've read about, and that is a definite killer for licensed games, is the fact that the producers, the movie studios, these overarching companies, they're the ones in control. And it's it's on a case by case basis, but sometimes the producers, they want to include certain elements of the movies or something, and that doesn't clash well with actual gameplay. And the biggest killer overall is timetables and scheduling and stuff, because when these movies come out, they want the games to come out in a relatively
right when the movie comes out.
So even if these developers have all these great ideas, even if they really do have a passion for the source material, they might and often don't have enough time to do everything they want, and they just kind of have to throw this ramshackle game together to release along with the movie and stuff, and that is super.
Dude, it's like freaking Face Off for video games. You have to make a insanely amazing makeup in 6 hours.
Yeah, exactly. It's just you're asking for a lot from these developers, whether they're passionate about what they're working on or not. And I suppose that's one of definitely the saving graces for this, the Alien game, because the movie has been out for nearly 30 years now.
Yeah, it's not on a deadline, and this isn't about a new movie coming out or anything. This is about just the overall fan base that has lived for decades.
Yeah, exactly, and I suppose you could say the same thing about the Arkham series, because they weren't trying to follow the Christian Bale movies at all. They weren't trying to recreate any of the elements or the aesthetics of that. They were trying to recreate the old Batman feel, sort of a thing.
You don't think anything carried over from Christopher Nolan series?
To the Arkham series?
Yeah.
Very little, if any, because all of the characters. They're the over the top cartoon violence sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, Batman in the Christopher Nolan movies, he's got the classic he's beating up a group of bad guys sort of a thing. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the feel of it is always, it's just so realistic in the Christopher Nolan movies where he's. And a lot of the time also is the whole, they try to do it realistic and they try to do the cuts where you're not like, always seeing all the action all the time sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Which, I guess that's the thing with the Christopher Nolan series. It's, how do I put this? It's more of a film than a comic book ode.
Yeah.
Some may say.
And as opposed to the new Marvel movies, which are definitely more comical,
definitely dedicated to the comic.
Yeah. And,
which I don't mind that because
no, not at all. Yeah.
Big film.
Yeah. And I could talk about that for a very long time too, but I'll stay off that for now. But the action in a video game is very different from the action in a movie because the player is seeing everything, they're controlling everything.
Right.
And so the feel of at least for the first Arkham games is it's over the top. These thugs are coming at you and they're kind of doing it the video game kind of like cheesy old action styles where it's like, okay, one at a time, guys, file in
down and stuff.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Don't they have kind of like the 300 effect where it like slows down at certain parts?
Yeah,
certain hits and everything.
Yeah, kinda.
They have it's a system. It feels really good. It's the counter system. So like if you see some guy like coming in at you, you can hit the counter button really fast, and it kind of does that slow like shows Batman like manipulating the guy's arm to like take his weapon or just smash him down into the ground, and it feels really good.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing better than breaking a thug's arm.
It's been forever since I watched the old Batman series, but I mean, like, it's all cartoon violence and stuff, and I mean, like, usually you did see, this is subjective, but you saw more of the action from fight to fight sort of a thing than you would in a Christopher Nolan, the Batman series, with how the cuts are and stuff. That combined with the fact that, like I said, the player's in control, the player's always seeing what's going on, and it's so very important in a video game. They did a better job of recreating the cool cartoon violence, sort of like over-the-top action, rather than the Christopher Nolan realistic sort of like taking the fight out in like 30 seconds sort of a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think we got a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah.
This has been awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, Chris.
Anytime. I enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
no problem.
We'll be sure to have you back to talk about certain subjects that you're enthusiastic about as well.
I
love talking about things I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Sure
We do too.
All right, so if you want to actually just, Chris, if you want to just shout out where people can find you, your Twitch channel, or...
Oh, yeah. So I stream on Twitch TV /Varakti. It's really weird. I should have probably an easier name, but it's VORAKTEE. It's a very strange name, and I don't like people watching me, so I make it really hard for them to find me.
We'll find you, Chris.
And I have a Facebook. I do costuming and programming and stuff, and I try to update my stream stuff on my Facebook page too, so you can find it the same facebook.com /Varakti, VORAKTEE.
You're currently working on Star-Lord now, right?
What's that? Oh yeah, for my costume. Yeah. No, I I freaking fell in love with Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't know anything about it before the movie, and I was kind of like, okay, I'm going in this movie like, I don't know, but then when I came out, I was just like, this is fantastic. I'm going to watch this 5 more times.
He's your Marvel entity.
He is my Marvel persona. I pelvic sorcery. Yes.
So definitely looking forward to that.
Yes. I'm excited.
Also, your YouTube is the same name, right?
Yeah. It's Varecti.
All right. Awesome. The web address /Varecti?
I believe so. YouTube confounds me, but I'm sure you can find it.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, so you know where to find Chris.
Great.
With all his Varecti places and entertainment and all that good stuff. And, of course, you know where to find us and our many locations.
Yeah.
You can find us at Twitter at FanVoicePodcast.
YouTube.com/TheFanVoicePodcast.
Facebook.com/TheFanVoicePodcast.
You can email us at fan@fanvoice.com.
And of course, you can check us out at our website, thefanvoice.com, where we post news, reviews, and special articles just of our opinions on all this great stuff.
All very good opinions.
Right.
Yes. Oh, and I do have a Twitter too. Also Varecti. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Cool. Awesome.
So yeah, we'll have all of these links in the comment section.
Yes,
below, so
definitely.
Don't worry about trying to remember all that.
Excellent.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you guys next time. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're awesome. And I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Great.
Force 22.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye.